It's not even real. We've got so much conjecture in a couple different stories right now. And my question is, do you know when the government's lying? Basically, whenever the FBI's got its mouth open. Pretty much. It doesn't matter who's in charge of it. Now we had Kimberly Cheadle back during the Trump shooting of last year, and she had no answer. She got fired. Now it's Kosh Patel and Dan Bongino, and they've lied already, the both of them. Well, I can't say Kosh Patel has lied, but the guy in Utah that's speaking about the Charlie Kirk murder, he's definitely lying. He's pointing the finger at Tyler Robinson and saying, you did it. You're the one who did it. Well, how do we know? We've now got 3 shooters, and there's video of 3 people supposedly pulling a trigger to shoot at Charlie Kirk. 2 of them are on stage, and one of them's part of the security detail that's supposed to be protecting him. You already saw the video with the 2 men behind him doing the signs, one tipping the hat. That was Frank Turkin, I do believe. His friend was a woman. She put a video out on YouTube saying, that's my friend, and he would never do such a thing, and he would take a bullet for him. Well, if he's part of the security detail and he's tipping the cap, that's military code for shooter. And the other guy in the black shirt was moving his arms like this, and that's a code for suspect. Why is neither one of them standing in front to take the bullet? Well, for one thing, the shot probably came from the side. You guys saw the video that I posted with the guy shooting the gun under his folded arm like this. That's the second shooter. The third shooter is the guy in the white t-shirt behind him, to the side of Charlie Kirk, to the right side of him. And you can see where it looks like he might be holding a gun, and it recoils like this, and then after the recoil, Charlie Kirk's body goes like this. And you have to ask the question, we've never seen a video of a person being murdered like this and blood just gushing out or whatever. I mean, we've seen people burning to death a couple times, but I guess people have seen murders on TikTok and stuff before they're like censored and taken down, but not of like such a high profile person. I mean, I guess there's a video out there of JFK in 1963 where the driver shoots him, and that's swept under the rug. Nobody really talks about it. It's the same thing with the Butler shooting, and Matthew Thomas Crooks is perched on the building, where that's the first time that Trump asked Secret Service to show up, and then of course they stand there and watch him climb up the stairwell to the roof of the AGR building with Butler police, and they just stand there and watch him carrying an AR-15 going up to the roof. But there's a second shooter up on the water tower who is rumored to be Antifa, a 26-year-old Antifa guy with gauges in his ears. And that picture was taken down right away and all swept under the rug. You had a woman in the stand saying she heard bullets coming from that way of the water tower, which was behind that yellow crane, and that was perched up by, the yellow crane was perched up where Corey Conspiratore, the 50-year-old fire chief, was brutally killed. So it just makes you say nothing's real. It's not real. Can't trust anything anymore. And the narrative that we're being told is not the real truth. Now, Tyler Robinson, they're pointing the fingers at him, and now they're leveraging the death penalty against him, or saying that that's a very real the prosecutors are pushing for the death penalty, is what I'm trying to say. Will it happen? I don't know. It's in Utah, so, it's possible. But what's weird about the whole thing is Tyler Robinson acts like he doesn't have a care in the world. He's over there saying his name on camera, and it's like, it's not real. He's not even looking at a life imprisonment or a death penalty in his mind. He just acts like it's just another day. It's weird. The whole thing's weird. There's so much conjecture. There's a video of Charlie Kirk with the microphone up there, and I think it's a microphone because when he's shot, you can kind of see it flying up and stuff, but the shot to me looks like it's coming from the side, and it actually looks like it entered back here and came out over here. So that's why I keep saying I don't think it was Tyler Robinson that killed him. I think it was one of those other 2 guys on stage, and if it was his own security man that was supposed to be protecting him, his detail team, that's sad and sick, man. So if he is dead and he didn't fake his murder, then it's Israel Mossad who's responsible for this. Candace Owens put her podcast out 2 days ago now, and said Bill Ackman is behind it. Bill Ackman is like all sweating now, sweating bullets himself, and saying, "Oh, it wasn't me. I didn't do it." And Charlie Kirk and I had conversations, and I never said anything like this and did anything. And Charlie Kirk himself came out, a week before, and said that Israel was trying to kill him. So now you've got the Krasenstein brothers, who followed the transgendered boyfriend on TikTok, and a lot is coming out now, and it's clear that if he really is dead, even though we didn't actually get to see the full body, and why would they have an open casket for a guy who was shot back here and it came out here, is beyond me. People are saying, oh, they can cover that up with makeup and stuff. Maybe, but why would you have an open casket funeral? It doesn't make sense. His wife has the Freemason ring on there with the big G, and there are pictures of him throwing up a 666 sign, which is a Freemasonic symbol. So is anything real? Like, what are we supposed to be believing here? None of it makes sense. So I don't know. Stay tuned on that topic. I'm going to keep covering that. We're not going to hear the end of it for a while, but I want to talk about the aliens. So have you guys been paying attention to the news lately? Well, there are two big things that have come out. So we've got this colossal mothership that they initially said a couple months ago, if you've been paying attention to the news, that there's this big astronomical object way out in space, and it's hurtling to us, and nobody can understand what it is or why it's making the movements it is. It stops and then it moves. And now they're coming out and they're saying that it appears to be a big mothership. And at its current trajectory, it's supposed to arrive to Earth around November, late November. Well, late November is going to be pretty cold, for one, and if any of you have watched the movie Signs, produced by M. Night Shyamalan with Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix, you remember that? I think it came out in 2013. You remember the scene with the 7-foot gray aliens? Well, those are real. Those are under the ground. Phil Schneider talked about it. Phil Schneider's the guy that they made 14 attempts on his life, killed him on the 14th attempt when they electrocuted his head and strangled him with his own catheter. But he talked about the 7-foot gray aliens, and wouldn't it be something if, lo and behold, at night you come face to face with a 7-foot gray alien? I mean, you'd be defecating your drawers. That'd be the scariest thing ever. They talk about these put-on haunted houses that people get scared in, but I'd say you'd be pretty scared. You come across one of those guys. And then Phil Schneider talked about seeing a couple, and they went like this with their plasma energy weapons and threw it at him and opened him up from the inside all the way down to his feet. Took him a long time to recover from that, and he got cancer from it. So I said last year in early July, before the Butler Trump shooting, that the government was going to stage and prepare us for a false flag alien invasion. Well, this is it. Now, could there be some elements of reality to it? Yeah, there could be. I'm not saying there won't be some aliens from it, but there's a reason that they're coming out with this in the news. All these decades, ever since Roswell in 1947, they denied the existence of UFOs. Now they're coming out with it. Government experts are now saying it. So, and then if you've also been paying attention, look at what else has been happening in the news. We've got the missile launch where a missile bounced off of a UFO. Government actual officials are now saying that this is happening. Not low down guys, the higher up ones are saying that a missile bounced off, or a Hellfire missile bounced off a UFO, and the UFO actually morphed back together. The missile kind of blew it up, and the UFO went and morphed back together. So why are they telling us about all this stuff now? Well, it's because they're preparing you for the false flag. And if this does turn out to be real on some level, and we do see these entities, maybe the reptilians, maybe the grays, I don't know, it means that the government is working and colluding with them. Otherwise, we'd never even hear about it. Nobody would be talking about it. Amateur astronomers probably wouldn't have even seen it yet, but we're hearing about it. So there's a reason for it. There's a reason in the Charlie Kirk supposed death, if he is dead, that you're hearing everything about Tyler Robinson, but it's the same story as every one of these false flags. It's transgendered this, transgendered that. They want us to hate them. They want them to hate us. So it's division politics. They want everybody to hate each other. It's a Freemason tactic called order through chaos. So let's start coming together. Let's ditch the hate. Let's start accepting everybody. You can agree to disagree and move on and let it be that. So if I've got one thing to say, it's that it isn't even real. So stay tuned, folks. End of November is coming around. People keep talking rapture here, September 23rd, coming up real close. They keep talking mothership coming end of November. Let's see what happens. Until next time, I'll keep you updated. And as always, Godspeed, everybody.